This interview is brought to you by Baked and Packaged by Anne Menzo. For all your bakery within the UK, Europe and Ghana, call Anne on 078-282-44129.
Wow.
Right, you've also been accused of getting him arrested 45 minutes to your daughter's baptism. Why did you do that?
Oh, okay. So I'm so powerful that I can just call the police and police get people arrested. So that as well, when I heard that and the way it was portrayed, I laughed as well. But unfortunately, I think the problem with social media is people post things, then some people might see, and the next day some other people, so people get confused. So I will tell the whole story is my daughter's baptism, was on the 3rd of June. It was a Saturday. The day before, which was on a Friday, I was at home with the children on a video conference with work. And all of a sudden, we hear banging, banging, banging. So I thought maybe one of the children was stuck in the bathroom or something like that. So we go and check, there's no one. And at that time, I was living in a smaller apartment where I had moved into after the separation to try and rebuild myself. And I go on the door and the door was glassed. And all I see is a man standing on the side, banging on the door like that. Pum, pum, pum. Obviously, I was married to him. I can recognize him, right? So I shouted, "What are you doing here? Open, open, open. I want to see my children." And I'm like, "Reggie, you live 3 hours away. Why didn't you call?" And he said, "Because you've blocked my number." I was like, "Yes, because I don't want to talk to you. But why didn't you send me an email to let me know that you wanted to come to see your children?" And then he went, "Oh, you need to open the door. You need to open the door." Bam, 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 bam. And I was like, "No, you need to leave. If you don't leave, I will call the police." And me and him dynamics is not healthy. It's not healthy. So it was like, yeah, call the police, call the police. I was like, okay, do you know what? I was getting agitated. It was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I called the police while he was there. And I told them, my ex-husband, we are separated, not divorced yet, is here and is kind of trying to demand to come indoors. But I don't want him here, and he's giving me anxiety, and I don't know what to do. So that's all I said, right? And they said, well, because they could hear him still shouting, they were like, okay, who is talking to him? I was like, yeah, one of my children is kind of telling him, you know what, just leave it, go, right? And he was like, okay, you all need to move from the door. And then we discussed, and I explained to them that I've told him so many times not to come unannounced, but to rather let me know. And then he doesn't need to be in my presence or see me. I'm happy for him to see his children, but not when I'm there. I can send them to him, but I don't want you in the house. So that was my report. The police didn't come immediately, but if you go on his profile, June 2nd, 2023, he then makes a post on social media with a police siren. And I remember, because that shocked me, where he says that he had had 2 encounters with police that week. And someone called the police on him for doing the right thing. He has been sat there for 30 minutes. The police hasn't shown up. So he has himself called the police, giving them the address of where he is staying so that they can come and speak to him, because the police are his friends. And he has also told the receptionist that if the police come, send them to my room so they can chit-chat. So there is a post on June 2nd. Now the next day, so in the evening, they arrived in the evening, which was quite late anyway. And they arrived, they took a statement from me, they took a statement from the children because the children were present. They went to neighbors as well because the neighbors witnessed everything, and they took statement from the neighbors. And then I told them that on top of all the frustration, this is what he's done on social media. He's made the post. So it's like you're doing things to cause emotional turmoil to people, and then you go on social media to manipulate. And then they saw it, and they saw that he had placed a call. That's what he meant. He stated. So if the next day they come straight to where you are, because I didn't know where you were staying. I had no clue. Me and you hadn't talked, so I didn't know where you were staying. So if they come the next day, because they've traced your call, and they come to where you are and take you in for questioning to take your statement, did I call the police for you to be arrested 45 minutes before our daughter's baptism?
Wow.
And he was brought in for, so I didn't know that was happening on that day. I was expecting him to come to the baptism, and I was anxious because I was like, I hope no drama happens, but nothing happened. So I was like, oh my God, what has happened? So way after the ceremony, as I was driving, because another thing that I heard is his name was there was an invitation card. There was no invitation, there was no party. Because of the situation, it was just simple. Us parent, was supposed to be us parent, and the godmother. That's it. No one else invited. And I received a call as we were going to the godmother's place because we decided to go and eat something there. And it was the police, and they told me that they've taken him for questioning for the situation. They will let me know. I was like, okay. I wasn't expecting that, but okay. Later on, they called me in the evening, and they told me that, okay, they've questioned him. They asked him to get his account. And do you know what he said? No contest.
To what you sent to the police earlier?
To what I said, to what the children said, to what the neighbors said.
No contest.
No contest. So because of no contest, right? So they gave him bail conditions. And the bail conditions were, don't come to my house, right? Do not call me. But if you want to get information or get in touch with your children, do that through the Citizen Advice Bureau, through your own lawyer, or through a mediation party, so that there is no conflict, right, between the parent. So you say no contest to the police. So if I lied for you to get arrested, that was your chance for you to say, oh no, this is what happened. But you said no contest. But then the next day you go on social media, and for a whole year and a half, you keep on saying, you made me get arrested. Why didn't you defend yourself with the police if I was lying? Why didn't you say, like, who on their right senses will get the father of her children arrested on the day of the baptism? That's why people think that I'm a wicked woman. That's why people call me a witch. That's why people have the audacity to write mean things about me. Because for you to say such a thing, who would do that? But people don't know that nothing was done by me. Again, I was minding my business at home. You came to bring drama. You are brought in for questioning. And the day before you were like, the police are your friends. But then in front of them you say no contest. But on social media, you twist the story.
So here's another way I've seen him say that he prays your son, and I'm referring to your first, marries a woman like you because of all what you've made him go through.
That's a blessing.
You see it as such?
He's a smart man. He will never curse his son. He's just playing with the public's mind. Of course he wants his son to marry a woman like his mother.
But he's also accused you of, I mean, you've made him go through, which means there's something you've made him go through that he's finding it difficult to let go. Something that actually hurts him.
I would like to know what that is. I would really like to know what that is. Because if I had, think of it, again I said, who ended the relationship?
You did.
I did. Who filed for divorce?
You did.
I did. And prior to all that, his post on social media, if you go back, wonderful wife, supportive wife, my strength, my everything. I am a handful. I'm sorry for all I put you through. But then when the wonderful woman, the strong pillar, the gorgeous, beautiful mother says, enough is enough. I want out. Now I am a monster.
Let me take you back briefly. Mm-hmm. And in your submission some few minutes ago, you said he had left you with debts and you are paying.
Mm-hmm.
What debts are these?
So, obviously, everyone has debts, right? And as a couple, when you're living together and you have things to pay, you pay them together. But if only one person is paying, right? Mm-hmm. The other person must pay as well. Mm-hmm. So there were no more, I don't want to go too much depth because that's personal, but again, I will address it anyway. But there were bills that were supposed to be completed, but they were left on me. There was
bills for the house.
For the house.
Right.
That were left for me to cover on my own. There was also a loan that I had taken because he asked me to take for his mom's funeral. And for me, you are leaving me with the children. You're not really supporting with the children. On top of it, you're not helping to clear the mess that is there. Who is doing harm to the other?
And you mean in all this, mm-hmm. let me stick to the loan, especially when that is related to him and his late mom. There hasn't been any point where he has actually come forward to say, let's clear this particular one, because literally I was the beneficiary for that particular loan.
I've sent him end of December. No, it was end of 2022. I sat down and sent him a long email with a breakdown of the things that, needed to be covered. Right. And I did that for him to understand, what you've left behind. And broke it down step by step by step. And I'm like, I'm not asking you. I will never ask you to do everything by yourself. But I'm not going to do it all by myself. So let's meet in half. I've paid maybe till here. Can you contribute to do that? Do you think I received a response to it? Till date, I haven't received a single response. The only thing that I got from it is once we were talking and he was like, oh, that email you sent, after I read it, I realized that, oh my God. But do you think until date, do you think I've received anything? I've received, okay, do you know what? We're no longer together. I've left this, I did leave this on you. Let's just sort it. This is what I can do. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. And do you see me on social media parading or saying all sort? I don't. And I've taken it as, you know what? I'm quite straightforward. I don't want drama. So you don't want to clear that? I will do it by myself. I've made headways. I'll do it by myself. I'm managing it by myself. But one thing that I'm not going to let you off is providing for the children. Anything else, I don't need anything else anymore. I just want to focus on my peace. But I didn't have the children by myself. So you would need to do your part on that.
So with providing for the children, now can we say there's been a closure to that particular one, to say that Reggie knows that at the end of every month he's supposed to contribute, let's say maybe 200 or 400 pounds for the kids? Has there been a closure to that particular topic now?
Well, there's no, the closure in the terms that you've mentioned, no. Because what's happening is not him paying. He's been taken from his wages before they even reach him.
Okay.
So the system is taking the money from him directly. It's different when we sit down
voluntarily
and you say, do you know what, Edith, I'm going to do this. And mind you, fair enough for him, in May, he called me. So I haven't blocked his number. His number has been unblocked for quite a while, right? But he's blocked my number. Because I can see at least on WhatsApp, because I don't see his image anymore there. So usually when someone blocks you, it's like that. So I was going to pick up one of the children, and an anonymous number, hidden number, calls me. I answer, and that's him. And I was like, why are you calling me with a hidden number when you have my when you want to speak with me? And he said, oh, because I told him, because you've blocked me. So why are you calling me with a hidden number? I'm calling you from my work phone, and I don't want you to see it. Okay, I was like, okay, whatever, you can use your normal number. Why have you blocked me then? And he said, because you insult me. I was like, I never call you. So I don't know who you have around you that you need to portray me that way, but I never call you, so why are you behaving like that? And on that call, he was basically trying to convince me to say, oh, because they were reviewing how much they need to deduct and everything. Oh, you know what? Because they take time and all that, cancel it and I'll pay you directly. And I said, I am not doing that mistake. I am not canceling the child maintenance. The minute I have no trust in you to make regular payments. You pick and choose when you want to provide. Child maintenance, even if they say that monthly is £10, I will get that £10. That's something that I know. So I can plan my life, the children's life around that. Because I know in advance how much money is going to come. I leave it with you, it's going to be like the previous year. Oh, didn't they tell you I don't have money, so I'm not paying? Or today I will pay only 20. Tomorrow I'll pay, next month I'll give you just 100. The another month, oh, I'll do. No, I don't want that. I need stability. So I am not canceling. I'm sorry. And that's on that call that I told him that I had sent the call recording to the school so that they were aware of the situation.
I see. So in all this, has he as a father and also you as a mother, have both of you apologized to your kids?
You know what? I have apologized to the kids countless times. The day that in April, when he said those things to our son, I broke down in tears. I hugged him tight and I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you are... No, I imagine I carried them all 9 months. I gave birth to them. I don't want them to be facing this drama. We are so much beautiful as a union for all this drama to be playing out like that. None of the children are disrespectful. They are adorable. They are amazing. They're doing well. Yes, one must have had a period where things were not going well, but overall they are amazing. I hear praises. To be honest with you, I received the same way he was notified, right, by the school about the behavior thing. Every time they get praises, they send it by email. So why haven't you ever praised your son publicly whenever you got an email from the head teacher saying your son is brilliant? But then, the minute you receive something negative, you want to play it all out there just to show that the mother is a bad mother.
Has he ever gone on his knees to, maybe apologize to you or apologize to the kids too?
I never got any apology at all, and I don't need an apology. I don't want an apology. You get an apology when someone does something and they realize that what they're doing is hurting you and they stop it. That's when an apology is fair to receive. But we're talking about 2 years. Caleb, it's 2 years of lies, of made up lies. You can go online and say, she's preventing me from seeing my children if you have called me and I've told you you're not seeing the children, or you've texted me and I've said no. You've either emailed me and I've said no, but there is no such a thing of where I've said you are not seeing the children. And there is no such a thing as every single time that he goes on social media that there's been an even interaction between me and him behind closed doors. What has happened rather is that when he does all these posts, I go underneath, and in a few times I've gone underneath and I said, that's a lie. I haven't prevented you. I've just set boundaries that you need to respect. You didn't respect me in marriage. We're no longer together. I don't have to take disrespect. I don't have to be submissive to disrespect. I don't have to submit myself to torture. I'm a human being. If something is hurting me emotionally, mentally, physically, I don't have to endure it just for the sake of enduring it. So I am within my right to say, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. But if you want to see your children, which you have the right to, let me know in advance so arrangements can be done. And I've heard some people write as well, oh yeah, but you could be calling him. I could be calling him. So after everything, I need to try and pick myself up, pick the children up, because with everything, no one thinks about how are the children feeling.
Well, some have actually said the kids, don't they miss their dad? How about they picking up the phone and also calling their dad?
That's something that I can't answer. But the thing is, only someone that knows exactly how we were living can understand. I can't answer for my children, but there is never a situation where I say, do not call your dad. Even when I had to take with all these social media accusation and all that, I did at a point tell them, unfollow him. I told my children, I need you to unfollow your dad on social media. Because you can't, I don't want my children to see their dad insulting their mom. And it's not, the accusations haven't only been about she's not allowing me to see the children, or she's getting me arrested for no reason and stuff like that. There's been insulting things. He's spoken about my mother many times. Said things about my mother. My mother is wicked. How dare you? My mom has done nothing to you. Saying things on social media such as, my mom has done this. My mom didn't want my son to come to earth and stuff like that. Why would you say such things? If your problem is about seeing your children, why are you so geared up to accuse me on social media why can't you make the arrangements so that you can be with them? If I'm saying, and one thing, in all this, people think I've taken custody. People literally believe him and think that I have sought custody. I haven't taken custody. I haven't taken him to court for the children. Never. If I wanted to be vindictive, because that's the narrative that is creating, why would I divorce you? Why would I set you free if I am vindictive for something that you've done? But here again, I've proven to you that I called it off. It was already off March a bit, and I finally said, because in between you try to patch up things here and there, and then there were months where we don't talk at all. But then October 2022 was when I said, you know what, I'm done.
I'm actually wondering if within this period that you felt or you wanted to get out of it fully, has there been effort to, patch up, as in from his side, or maybe it could be your family? Has there been that effort from anybody or any other to get this sorted?
Yeah, no, a lot of people have tried. Even my dad, before he passed away, he tried to kind of come reconcile. But the thing is, he has his own version of things, which is, and I have my own version of things. So my thing at the beginning was like, relationships are not easy, but there is one thing that he needs to work on. And until he works on that, we can't carry on, because that has a knock-on effect, not only on me, but on the children as well. Because the environment you raise your children, that's how they're gonna live, and that's what they're gonna pick up when they grow up. So that was one thing that I needed him to solve. When you're not accountable, when you don't admit that you have that issue, and you bring out, oh, she's doing this, she doesn't respect me and all that, this has nothing to do with respect.
What's that one thing?
Sorry?
What's that one thing you wanted him to solve?
I can't say it for him.
You were with him. You might have seen it. Maybe not him. He might have not seen it.
He knows it. He knows what his issues is. People that are around knows what the issue is and what I'm talking about. I'm just not gonna say it publicly out there, because he has also, a life, his image and all that. So I won't say that. But he has things that he needs to work on, and everyone has things that they need to work on.
Everyone does. But are these things so damning that one cannot help straighten it? As in, are these things that you're talking about, is it so, above the roof that...
It is something that, if it's with you, you only can solve. No one can force you to do that.
What could this be?
There's no need to speculate, but I'll just say that he had to work on one thing. And
women?
No, to be honest with you, for me, it's not a women thing. Although there was clearly cheating from his side, but that's not the thing. And for me, that is one thing that I don't compromise on. You cheat, for me, is done. Because people say, some people said, you left your husband because he cheated. Okay. Do people realize, it wasn't only because he cheated, but if we take cheating only, do we expect, I don't know who expect me as a healthy woman to risk getting sickness because the person I'm married to is going with someone else? I deserve better than that. I'm not risking my health for marriage? No. I'm not risking my mental health for marriage. No.
For better, for worse, you said earlier.
For better, for worse, but not for the worst that can bring me 6 feet under.
Is he on alcohol?
That's for him to answer. I won't say it. But it is many things. So it was many things, and I had to take the decision. And to be honest with you, the relationship, I don't want anyone to think that in 15 years of marriage, I made him happy, I was perfect or anything. No, every marriage is, we have those moments where, we all have some issues. And my main issue, I think, as that I realized and I worked on is being a bit more patient in general about things. So you pick things, but no marriage is easy. But there are certain things that happen, and then you realize that, this is not going anywhere. And then on top of that, things can be resolved. But on top of that, I realized that we were polar opposite. We met when we were young. I'm at a stage in my late 30s, almost 40s next year, where I'm envisioning my life in a way. And if we can't merge our goals, what are we doing? As a couple, you're meant to come together and build things together. And if we're not doing that, if there is so much hate, resentment, to the extent that it is public humiliation, for what reason? We are family, regardless of everything. We are family, even if we don't speak, even if we don't see eye to eye. We are family, and we will forever be family, because he would always be the father of my children, and I will always be the mother of his children. If I love my children, how can I hate their dad? And if you love your children, how can you disgrace their mom publicly? How can you lie on their mom publicly? How can you make posts and sit down there and be happy about people insulting her and insulting the children on top? And one other thing that for me is hurtful is, like we've always said, everything that goes on the internet stays on the internet, right? Imagine my children, they don't have, for example, Facebook, but they have Instagram. And I know that they are not following him, so they don't see that. But I as well, I'm not following him. I've blocked his account. But sometimes I go on social media and people are sharing things and you see them. And I read the comments underneath and they're hurtful. So I'm picturing myself. Some people say, oh, go and ask for DNA. Go get a DNA test. Or ignore them. Forget about them. And go have some other kids somewhere else. And I'm picturing myself, my children, going on social media and reading this. People telling your dad to forget about you and go have children elsewhere. People saying that, oh, go get a DNA test, because how hurtful is that? And another thing that, and you're not battling anyone that says anything against your ex-wife or against your children. You're actually there, and you're actually having friends like Felipe with James, and I'll mention him, I'm sorry, that are battling your own children. Children that you're stating that you love, and this man has the audacity, without even knowing any of your children, without even knowing me, never spoken to me, never shared a room with me, has the audacity to go on social media and state that I am this and this and this and that. With what evidence? And you are allowing people like that to hurt your own family? I can't comprehend. And another thing is, at a point there was this, because my eldest has my surname.
Okay, I got.
Icon Ward, right? He has my surname. And you sit down and people speculate, yeah, she's a bad woman. Look, she's changed. She doesn't even allow the children to have her that surname and all that. And you're sat there and you don't say anything. You know, in every country, if you're not, if you have a child when both parents are not married, right? Automatically the son or the daughter takes the mother's name.
Mother's name. Okay.
Unless the father is present when you're registering the kid. When I had my son, he was in Ghana.
Oh, okay. So it's not something that happened recently. It's been there since Icons was born.
When he was born, he was living in Ghana. When I relocated to UK and I made the family reunion papers, then he joined us. And my son is 16. If the father wanted, he could have had the time to change the surname, well, but it hasn't happened. So when people speculate over your own children like that, and bringing things like that, and you don't address them, but you are quick to address when someone calls you a deadbeat father, you're quick to address and say, I am not a deadbeat father, I do this, I do this. You address everything about you, but you don't address things that are hurting about your children. Like, people don't realize. And I think, when are we going to stop putting fire onto this? There is a thing of people, some people, when they're going through things, they hold things. And I've been through it, because there's been time in these 2 years, there's been time where I didn't want to wake up. I wish I could just go to sleep, because it was total embarrassment. It's embarrassing. I felt hopeless. I felt helpless. I didn't know what to do, because you're being misrepresented. One day you are there, you open your DM, someone is telling you that women like you shouldn't even be alive. My death anniversary this year, it was on 28th of August. I woke up, went on social media, someone went on an old post of my son, and then went to tag me in, you're a very wicked woman, and blah, 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 blah. Not knowing that I'm still grieving my dad, because I lost my dad whilst there was this separation, there were many issues and all that. I haven't been able to properly grieve my dad. And everyone's like, oh, poor him. He's lost his mom and she's the wicked. Wicked about what? I'm not doing anything. I am just trying to survive what more do you want to draw out of me? I've allowed you everything. Live your life. Allow me to live. I'm not bothering you. I'm not taking you to court for money. I'm not doing anything. Even the divorce, I paid for it. You have if I am this bad woman, aren't you happy that we're no longer together? If I am a bad mom, take me to court and take the children off me. But why keep on subjecting me and you call me vindictive? And I don't blame the public, because everyone is going through stuff personally. So you might connect with the story. But Caleb, I've known you now. I've met you, right? And I feel like you are a very decent person, a very respectable person. But if I see you in the middle of the street throwing stones at a woman, there is no way I would join you to throw the stones just because I know you and I think that you are a good person. I will stop you. So any person that keeps on telling him, tell your truth, speak your truth, they are not good people. if you want to help someone, I will say, in the scenario that I've said, I will say, Caleb, first of all, what you're doing is you're throwing stones. You can kill the person. The person might have done something bad to you, but let's resolve it. What has happened? The first thing you do is you stop the abuse. You don't encourage it. Social media is freedom of speech, but freedom of speech is not this. Freedom of speech is not disgrace. Freedom of speech or freedom to express is not through social media. Social media is not therapy. People don't care. People are sat in their home with their own issues, and you've had for so many years a picture perfect family. So people enjoy seeing the drama. They will tell you, oh yeah, they're all wicked. They will gas you into it. But it's up to you to realize that this is my family. We are divorced. We're no longer together, but we're still family. I will never change. There's nothing, no one can ever take his place as the father of my children. No one. Even if I remarry, the person I remarry will never be the father of my children. May be the stepfather, but they have a father. The same way, you cannot replace me. So protect me, protect your children. And if you hate me, that's fine, but do it for your children. Do it for your children. So if you surround yourself with people that just because they've known you when you were going to school, they're gonna help you out to destroy your family, ask yourself, have they done the same thing to their own families? Who else have you seen going through issues and bashing and bashing and bashing?
One point you said from the beginning, and I've heard you say it again, it's got to do with you wanting to take your life at a point. For a statement that you've repeated it twice in this conversation we're having means that it really got to your neck, and you almost wanted to say no. Did you by chance take any substance, or should I make any effort to do that?
First of all, one thing that I would say is the situation, no one should be living like that. No human being should have their life out there like that. I can be, let's say, the most wicked person on this earth, but I do not deserve strangers to be talking, trashing me, sending me DMs that are hurtful over lies. So when you go through that, you feel like, you feel helpless, you feel hopeless, and it's difficult. Because you're like, you coil within yourself and you're like, oh my God, it's embarrassing, and I'm the type of person that my mom raised me in a way that I've always cared about how I portray myself out there. And I'm very conscious about what I say and try not to disgrace myself or disgrace anyone. Do you get me? So for me, this public thing is a tough one. What more can I go through? I went into a marriage not because I wanted to. It was like a random thing. I've gone into the marriage. The issues were there. You don't hope for the end of it, So that's an end. I took that decision. Yes, I was off, but that decision wasn't easy. Not because, and it's still not easy. Not because I'm in love still, or I want to be in that marriage, but it's difficult because I grew up with my mom without my dad, and never I would have imagined that I will put my children will go through a situation where they have separated parents. So that hurts me. It hurts me for them because I fought for this marriage to last. And when I realized that there was no more strength, nothing else to fight for, I took the decision, and I'm happy. I'm happy about the decision that I took. And I feel guilty for the children because they don't deserve that. But I'm grateful I've made it, because the outcome of them being in a toxic family is worse. At least now they've learned that if a situation is not healthy, you don't stay in it. Nothing is worth staying if it's toxic. They've learned that. My daughter, if she gets in a marriage, and I don't want anyone to speculate or think that Reggy was physically abusive. I will draw a line there, because I've seen some posts and some comments of people alluding of him being physically abusive, and he's never been physically abusive. I want to draw the line on that one. But my daughter, when she grows up and she's in a relationship, if she sees that the relationship is taking a toll over her mental health, I would rather her walk away than stay in and then potentially do harm to her own self out of the depression and out of the pain.
Right.
And the same way my children, the boys. So yes, I am hurt. I am going back to your question initially, that have we ever apologized? I feel sorry for them. But I also feel like that's the best thing. That's the best example. Things are not working, are toxic. You separate you from each other to ensure that the children are living in a healthy environment. And now they are. They don't wake up to a mother that it is stressed, in agony, in pain, that has worked all day long and has gone to do a night shift to try and save the family financially. And she's going around the clock, not sleeping. And on top of it, she has to face a whole lot. So it is difficult. So for me, my thing, and the reason why I think I decided that this is the time to speak up, is because it has gone too much. I can live with you lying about me, you making up stories randomly, you sitting down there and then out of the blue, without even there being an engagement between me and you go and accuse me of depriving you or denying you access and all that. I can live with that. But the minute you start involving the children by saying that they are disrespectful when actually they've been a victim of something that you've done, and you're not just speaking sense. And please, Ghanaians will say, yes, but parents can say whatever. We are not in Ghana. In England, in the Western world, children are taught that they don't need to be subjected to any kind of abuse. Children need to know that if someone is being verbally abusive towards you, you have the right to say, I'm going to end the call. That's not being disrespectful. No one should submit, and I repeat that, no one should submit to torture, and no one should submit to unhealthy and toxic situations.
Right. So on situations where you thought on taking your life?
I wouldn't want to go into that, but yes, there has been times where I felt like there was nothing to live for.
Have you, by chance, or when these things were happening, did you take anything like concussion or something?
I repeat, because this is quite personal. There has been 2020, and I'll mention 2022. There's been 2 incidents where I got so emotionally down that I took a step that I wasn't supposed to take. And again, I repeat that what saved me from that is my own 3 children sitting me down and telling me, Mommy, we do not want to lose you. Think about us. And it's not worth it. And when your own children sit you down and say that to you not once, then you realize that, listen, I need to think about how I can be strong and healthy because they need me more than I need myself. And that's why I had to make the step of boundaries, which are the boundaries that he doesn't want to respect. I don't want to talk to you because see the way you are on social media, the way he comes aggressively and he says things and his own conviction. How do you battle with someone like that? How do you reason? How do you make the person realize that this is not what is happening? There is no win. And if I get myself into that situation, I don't know, I've had experience of me going through a route that I don't want the situation. So that's why I don't want to have any contact with him.
In this situation, when the kids came to you to tell you all that, where was their father?
He wasn't around in that moment. So this is, I think I've opened up more than I wish to open up, but sometimes it is good because at least I feel like it gives a perspective. So from up until now, everyone has heard 180 degrees of the situation, right? Which is his side, his accusation. I'm giving you what is actually happening in the background. So I can come out and say, it's the same like I can say, oh, he's done this, he's done that, but I never bring a proof. I never explain the dynamics. And unfortunately, people just jump onto everything because it feels like our community likes to see women disgraced or women attacked. That so much that they don't question if what is being done is right or wrong, or if the versions are matching. So he comes out and says, a judge has ruled that I can't be in the life of my children. I've come out and proved it wasn't about the children. He comes out and says, and still people are saying, oh, she's taking custody. There's never been a custody battle. I would never take custody because I don't believe in that. Unless he is life-threatening, I will never fight for any custody. There is no need.
His partner, if I say his partner, his music partner, is he aware of all these and what has been his contributions to us?
I don't want to talk about anyone else because I need to respect them as well because they are outside people. But one thing I would say that any person that is close to both me and to him knows the truth. So if you don't see them out there, it's because they are the real people. Everyone sees what's happening, but there is so much you can tell a person, stop it. And if they don't want to stop, that's not your responsibility. So I don't blame anyone in general. The only people that I blame are the so-called friends that egg him on, put fire, and are actually going on social media to fight me. And again, they are the kind of people that basically, the example that I said, that if I see you throwing a stone at someone, I'm not just going to pick a stone and start throwing at the person and kill the person just because you're my friend. Throwing at the stone, if you're my friend, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what the person has done to you. but what you're doing is wrong. Think about posterity. Think about the repercussion this has. Think about tomorrow. Maybe you might be feeling a certain way today, but tomorrow, do you want to wait to say you're sorry? Do you want to push the mother of your children to be mentally low to the extent where something happens to her, to see your children go through the same grief that you went through when you lost your dear mom? So anyone that is out there backing him up to attack me, to talk about the children publicly, and to put fire, they are the devil in person. And there is one main devil, Philippe with James. He is the main one who has his own struggles. He wouldn't fight his own struggles, but he's gonna come on social media and publicly fight a non-existent fight. And another thing is, people say, just to go about the whole situation, people say, if she's preventing you, why don't you take her to court? So the thing is, England, the law says it is unlawful for any parent to deny access to the other parent from seeing the children, unless there is evidence of emotional abuse, alcohol abuse, physical abuse, or anything that threatens the children's welfare. Right? Mm. So if you're on social, obviously, people have pointed that out many times. And that was the reason why people were alleging that he was physically abusive to the children. And I said, no, he's never been physically abusive to the children. Never. So if I am actually denying you access, why aren't you using the law? Some will say, the so-called friends will say, the law, you need to spend a lot of money. But if you live in a different country, don't state things about a country that you don't live in. UK, the law doesn't cost money. The system is put in place in a way that they embrace, they are conducive about parents having the relationship with their children. So even in the worst case scenario, they will never deny a father or a mother from being the life of the children, but rather put in place in measure situations where put someone that can oversee the visitation. But why is he not going? Because there is no evidence. There is no situation. There is no example of him asking to see the children, and I've said no.
In all this, what do you need?
I need everyone to start backing off. The first thing I need is I need him to stop. I need him to stop because it's becoming a circus. It's a public display of something that it is, I call it made up, because there is no drama. We're divorced, I'm living my life. You should be living your life as well. If you want to see your children, no one is blocking you. Make the arrangements. From the way you've behaved so far, I'm not making anything directly with you. If I go today and agree with him, what guarantees me that he's not going to turn up on social media and lie again about it? I'm not doing that. I don't trust you. I want you to do the right thing, so let's use mediation. The mediation services provided by the system, there's nothing to pay. And they say, this is your days, these are my days, and it's fixed there. If I ever deny you, I can go to jail. I can be incriminated for that. Wouldn't you want that? If I'm this monster, if I'm this vile person, why do you want to interact with me? Wouldn't that be the better option for you? Not having to deal with me, but know that these are the days that you can see your children. And it's easy to come on social media and say, she's depriving me, she's been making it impossible for me to be in the lives of my children. I didn't pick you up and move you 3 hours and a half away. The reason why you're not in the life of your children is because you live 3 hours and a half, so you can't take them to school. You can't pick them up, you can't take them to football, you can't do all that. That's you, that's not me.
If I should give you a minute or two to offer a piece of advice to single mothers, young married couple, young ladies, I don't want to say those in your shoes, but well, I'm sure there could one or two people who also watch this interview and would want to relate to your story. What will be that message for them?
I think there is no right message, but one thing that I will say is when you are in a relationship or in a marriage, things evolve, people change, and things can go well if you have God, if you have a whole lot that comes with it, which is love, respect, and all that. But even if it doesn't move, even if it doesn't last and you decide to break apart, never lose that respect that you have for each other.
I'm actually happy to hear you say the chapter is closed and you've moved on, and now your mental health is good.
I mean, as a human, you go through the ups and downs in general, so but I'm good. I think one thing that I would like to say is people, I'm not here to convince anyone to trust me or take my side or take his side. All I want is people to realize that there are children involved. So I will ask for everyone to take a step back and avoid making comments if they don't have the facts, and in the best interest of understanding that there are children that are not minor to the extent that they don't see what is happening. So let's protect the children. And also I would also like to ask the bloggers to stop using the children's pictures whenever they are blogging about issues between the parents, because that's not right. The children, we need to protect minors. And for whatever we're going through, my children are going through, I will say that it is unfortunate that it has played in the public, and it shouldn't have been that way. It's not a situation that should have been even exposed to that level, because it's untrue. It's not a truthful depiction of who I am, who my children are, and what the unit of the family is in these terms, even as separated or divorced. So I would just ask for everyone to respect our privacy and avoid making comments that are hurtful, because behind it is easy to pick up a phone and write a comment to someone, but we need to realize that there is another human being at the end. And for me, it has been difficult to read certain comments, and I can imagine only how it is difficult for my boys and how it will become difficult for my daughter when she grows up, because everything that goes online stays there forever.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure we've had an extensive conversation on this matter, and it is my wish and prayer that I'll get the opportunity to sit with him too as well for a conversation on this particular topic, because I know definitely if this interview comes out, people will surely say, oh, you've listened to one side, why don't you go to the other side? So yes, we will surely do that here on Caleb Fields. But let me say a very big thank you to you for allowing me in your home today. It's been an amazing conversation. Though I noticed you were a bit emotional about the whole thing, but I'm sorry I took you there. It wasn't something I intended to, but forgive me on that. But
That's fine.
On a more serious one, I want to say a very big thank you to you. This is your camera. If there's anything you want to tell your kids once again, and then to him, and then to the general public on this matter.
Well, for my children, I see them every day, and they know how much I adore them, and I will continue to stand up for them, and I will continue to make sure that they are protected and in any way that I can. To him, I have nothing to say. There is nothing much to say, because we are adults, and adults, you know how you deal with people, and you should know how you deal with family. To the public, though, I will say is, now it's more like my life has been on your phone screens. It has been entertaining for some. It has been a connecting situation for others. But overall, I mean, I'm not speaking because I need anyone to take my side or to take a side. All I need everyone to understand is, when situations like that happen, let's try and desist from taking sides and accusing and insulting, and realize that if you're going through something similar, you don't have the full picture. You will never have a full picture of what is going on in someone's house. So don't take side and throw stones at someone just because it might sound similar, or just because you've gone to school with a person, or just because you think you know the person. Think about the other side as well, that we are humans, and no one deserves to go through what I've been through. So if it's a situation where you wouldn't ever see yourself doing that to your own family, don't instigate. I mean, it's not your responsibility, but we all have the ability to help others in a positive way. So I hope this serves as a lesson in a way, and I hope to have brought clarity from everyone. And finally, everyone can hear me saying, I am not denying him access to his children. I'm not making him get arrested randomly. There is nothing of that sort, and none of his accusations, thrown the way they are being thrown, are real or genuine and truthful. So that's about it. It's more on letting people know that enough of the judgment. Just think about, there are children involved, and many make statements such as, oh, she needs to think about the children. But you making that statement as well, you telling the person, keep on venting, and other people as well commenting about the children. Are you thinking about the welfare of the children? It's not. And the person that is looking after these children, when they're sick, when they're healthy, taking them to their activities, to school, nurturing them, cooking for them, feeding them, is the one that is being attacked. So for me, I hope this is a lesson, and we learn to do a bit better in life. Not only in our own life, but for others as well. And one thing about some bloggers and journalism, that they like to run with stories just for the fun of it, or to kind of follow their personal hate towards women or personal hate towards men. That's even wrong. That's wrong, because you have someone's life at stake, and you are damaging people by doing so. So let's learn to bring out more positiveness and love. And if we see someone doing harm, let's stop it. And if we can't stop it, let's not engage on it. That's all.
Well, I think the message is quite clear now, and I would want to say a very big thank you once again, Edith, for allowing me in your home. It's been an amazing conversation. I know the public will actually love this. At least there's one part of the story that you might not have heard in a very long time, or you haven't even heard at all. Finally, you get to hear this part of the story. My name is Caleb. Kindly subscribe to this channel, Caleb Feels, so the next time we drop something, you'll be first to watch. I'll see you on the next shoot. Have a good day, and You want to have a good moment with me and Edith. God bless you.